Welcome to the Wellness Nashville Podcast, where we shine a light on the people, practices, and places that make this city one of the most inspiring wellness communities in the country. I'm your host, Travis Richardson, founder of Be Well Asheville, your local news source for health, wellness, and community events. All right. So episode 2, here we go. Last week was a solo cast. That was our first episode where, if you didn't catch it, I gave a little sneak peek of 12 of the experts I'm going to be having on the podcast here down the road. But one of those experts was Nicole Will, who is the founder of Asheville Wellness Tours, a company blending movement, nature, and mindfulness into unforgettable experiences for both visitors and locals alike. Nicole curates meaningful experiences that help guests reconnect with themselves and the natural world through yoga hikes, forest bathing, sound meditations, and more. Her career spans nearly 2 decades in hospitality and outdoor leadership, from wilderness therapy guide to fine dining server, with deep roots in both backcountry trails and high-touch guest care. Before planting roots in Asheville, she ran a custom retreat planning business in the Andes and Galapagos of Ecuador. So Nicole brings a grounded, approachable style to wellness, blending deep expertise with a love for nature, community, and international travel. But here's what I love about Nicole. So just in my conversations with her so far, and every way that I've witnessed her, she just shows up. She showed up to my networking event. She was one of the first experts to submit events on my Be Well Asheville platform. She's in my newsletter, and she's really a go-getter. She's trying to help even me connect me up with resources that can help a new platform in Asheville. And she's also said something that to me I felt was really, really important, especially for other entrepreneurs out there. And that's that she loves what she does in her business, obviously very important, but she loves what it provides her with, which is the time and space to be with the people that she loves. That says a ton about her. So I'm excited to share her with everyone. Let's hear it from the goat yoga in, forest hiking, sound bathing founder of Asheville Wellness Tours, Nicole Will. Nicole, welcome to the Wellness Nashville Podcast.
Thanks, Travis. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I've been really looking forward to the conversation because you've created something that's pretty special. And, I was looking at your Instagram this morning, actually, and I can tell a ton of people think so too. The thing I love personally about what you've created the most is how you help people return to nature. And I think that's just so important. And I see you've been in business for about 8 years now, which is amazing. How does that feel?
That doesn't feel real. I'm going to question your math. It is real. Your math is right. It has been a surreal journey, and I'm happy to say 8 years in, it still feels new and fresh enough, but established with a solid enough foundation that there's some relaxation to it as well.
So how did this whole vision for you come to life?
So we started, our first season was in 2017. And at the time, I had a co-founder, and we were sort of taking over a walking tour that was in downtown Asheville. It was a really lovely collaboration between Dover Tea House, the Asheville Salt Cave, and this yoga teacher who would offer a class in the park, and you walk through downtown and learn about the history and have a little retreat on your feet. And my background is in adventure wellness-based retreat planning, mostly in the Andes and Galapagos of Ecuador. And I was invited into this collaboration in this project alongside a teacher I had organized a few retreats for previously. And she and I were both committing to Asheville full-time. We thought, how do we take this grand scale retreat situation and make it more accessible timing wise for more people and really showcase what Asheville has to offer. So we started with the walking tour and yoga hikes, yoga on the mountain, and it has just become its own thing since then.
One of the things you mentioned in our preparatory conversation was how what you do is community driven. What do you mean by that?
Everything we've done from the very beginning until now, it feels like Asheville Wellness Tours has created itself in a lot of ways in collaboration with the community. So what that looks like is a lot of listening and gathering. And so there are elements of the business now that came out of, for example, goat yoga, a local farm. Their specialty is cheese, and that's what they want to do all day, every day. And they also wanted to kind of supplement, farming is hard, it's difficult. And so they wanted to supplement with some goat yoga. How do we introduce these magical, fun beings to more people while we continue to focus on what we do best, which is cheese? And they approached us and said, hey, you have the logistics piece. You're already doing fun things with wellness. Could we do this in collaboration? And I'll be honest, at that time I thought, oh, this is a lot. That's really silly. Are people going to want to do it? I don't know. And, just listening to that farm, listening to the guests that we already have. Hey, is this something that you would be interested in doing? And getting yeses from all angles and moving forward with it. Despite how I might personally feel or whatever resistance I might have had. And I've just learned that lesson over and over and over again. What are people asking for? Do we have a base of professionals in Asheville who can satisfy that request? And are they excited about serving the types of groups that we tend to bring in? And again, if the answer is yes from all parties, we do it. We forge forward.
I love that. Being fully present for your guests is really what makes a business work. I think in my own life, I've personally tried to really brute force things, and sometimes I didn't listen. And in business, you really always have to be listening. So I think that's really important. I guess you've learned that probably through being in nature.
Absolutely. I mean, I love to think about wellness and well-being as this multifaceted idea, right? And so there are many different paths to cultivate your well-being, your personal wellness practice. Mine is nature. Mine is connection to nature, being outside, sitting on the porch with tea, going deep into the woods alone, whatever, nature all the time. And absolutely, that has taught me the power of stillness and the power of listening just to everything around you, to really connecting into place, your body, senses. And that's so helpful when combating, like you said, the brute force tendency within us all of like, I know I would love this thing, but I am not my guest, right? I am not this other business that we're in community with. And so being able to put aside the stories I'm telling or the assumptions I'm making and truly listen, that is a lesson I am still learning. And I tend to have more aha moments when I am practicing that in collaboration with nature in a space where there is spaciousness.
What was your last aha moment?
Great question. This actually touches on the lifestyle question that I think you're going to ask me that you just referenced. My last aha moment was that if I'm not taking care of myself, the rest of it doesn't necessarily fall apart because it's not all just me, but I'm going to serve the business and our guests and our partners better if I'm taking care of myself. And what I'm learning and the aha moment was entrepreneurship in general. The culture is go, 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 be in your business 50 hours a week, 60 if you must. And for me, I need to be away from the business for a certain amount of time every week, practicing self-care, or I do not serve it well. And that for me was on a recent trip I've taken. I've had that aha moment several times, and I don't always learn the lesson. And I most recently received that lesson when I was traveling and I was feeling a little guilty. Oh no, I'm farther away from the business. And I came back with a more balanced global view some inspiration for how to move forward in some places where we were feeling really stuck. And there's just great value in that. And that only for me, that mostly comes when I take a step back and I'm in a grander space and I'm not in front of the computer screen. And I just continue to learn that lesson.
I totally resonate with that. I've been an entrepreneur for many years, and I'll sometimes spend literally months stewing on a problem. So then I start to realize that so much of what we need in life is already present. It's already inside of us, and it's in around us, and it's in the people that we know and the places that we go to. It's there. Like, we just have to get quiet.
Yes. I have a 3-mile loop in our local forest, Bent Creek, that I enjoy walking because at the end, it's a loop one. So where's my turnaround point? I just can zone out a little bit and walk this loop. And at the end, there's a Forest Service gate. And I'll know when I'm approaching it. And there's this idea of what am I chewing on right now? What is just running like a hamster on the wheel in my head? And like, that is not allowed past this gate. And there's something about crossing that barrier, that boundary, that helps me release a lot of the obstacles and recapture the global view that I have buried in whatever noise I have been creating.
Absolutely. And so back on to this idea of presence, we talked about this idea of being present for play and having playfulness be a part of wellness. What's your take on what wellness means, and how does that show up in this idea of being present for play?
That's a great question. I think of wellness. I think about wellness all the time. I think about what does wellness mean all the time. And there are nuances that come in and out of that definition for me. But I think the thing that is the most consistent is this idea of it being multifaceted. And I feel adamantly that there is no one right way or correct way. We're often fed messages around, this is for sure the solution for you. And I cringe because while there are very passionate professionals who can guide you along the path, if that's not the right path for you, you need to have another passionate professional on a different path. And if we create time and space for people to discover all of these paths and we don't make it so doggone serious all the time, can we do that? And I think the answer is yes. And we really try to tap into these other senses. Like you've mentioned, the sense of play. I'm really constantly thinking about the sense of awe and wonder and our sense of intuition. You know, we talk about the 5 senses and drop into your body and all of that, and that's great. And also, can we be more expansive than that? And those things to me are way more appealing. And maybe not to everyone again, right? I'm a passionate professional who's saying nature is the way for me, but can I offer conditions that are different for many different types of people, right? So if tarot in the deeper conversations that can spark for you is the way to start thinking about what's already in you in a different way, amazing. That's not always my go-to tool, but it is very helpful for a lot of people. If being with baby goats for an hour can help get your mind out of that hamster wheel, let you really unplug because you're just playful, amazing. Please let me help cultivate that experience for you. We had a guest write in, and this was in the early days when I thought, is goat yoga? What am I doing? And what are we doing? And she said, hey, we brought our friend. We came to this goat yoga class. And I just want you to know that she lost her husband a couple months ago. We haven't seen her smile. And she laughed the entire time. Thank you for what you're doing. And that we get little reminders like that all of the time. And that helps me Am I still defining wellness? What happened there?
We are digging deep into this topic. I love that. No, it's so funny because that's, yeah, I think we don't need any strict definition, and we just like literally did the non-strict version of wellness, which is great.
Of defining it.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to, so something came to my mind that was really interesting. I wanted to share this with you because as you were speaking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels very relevant. So I recently was in Florida and I love to go to the beach. But I was at the beach, and normally when I go there, I can totally relax. It's like I can let the ocean wave and the air and everything just sort of like wash over me. But it was really interesting because this particular time I didn't have that. I was sitting there on the beach and I was feeling stressed. I'm like, why is this not working? And I really like dug into that and I decided, I'm like, what do I need right now? And I had to ask myself, what do I need? And I really was missing my daughter. And so I decided to give her a call and I talked to her, and we had like, all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, everything was like letting go. And I guess what I'm saying is that like, that was wellness for me. It was a conversation with my daughter, and it was more powerful than sitting at the one of the world's best beaches at St. Pete Beach. I mean, so that's just an example of like, goat yoga might do it for you, might be tarot. Who knows what it's going to be for you? Whole point is try. Like, don't think there's not something, because there is something for you. You've just got to try something, I feel like.
Yeah. And I love that. And I see a lot of messaging in the wellness community on a bigger commercial global scale that is shaming in some ways. Fix this thing about you. Can we just optimize what we have? We're all on this journey. What are we? Does it always have to be about fixing? Sure, we need support sometimes. We need to heal sometimes. Is that fixing though? And there's nothing wrong with somebody's wellness. Might also be setting aside social time to have a tasty beverage with a group of girlfriends. And there's nothing wrong with that. Have the craft beer. I mean, if it's healthy for you, and have a soda, whatever it is. Like, there's shaming, and there are messages around that tell us this is not wellness, but this thing that costs a lot of money, that is wellness. And I don't like that. It can be social. It can be an intellectual pathway towards your own personal wellness. It might be physical. It might be your religion, your spirituality. There's just so many options.
Right. Just try something and keep trying until you find it. Okay, so moving on here, one thing I've been curious about just in terms of like who participates in wellness-related experiences here in Asheville is, where do the people come from? So I guess in your business, what would you say the percentage of people coming from the local market is versus our tourists?
That's a great question. I want to give some evergreen information, and also things are really shifting post-Helene. Historically, it looks like we've been about 85% visitor and 15% local. The numbers are hard to track because of the way that our booking system works, and I'm also not a data nerd. But I think that has historically been our mix. And in the last 2 years, we've really focused on trying to cultivate experiences that locals might enjoy also, something that's very easy to join in. Our monthly sound bath around the new moon is a good example of that. We also see a lot of locals on our forest bathing retreats at the North Carolina Arboretum, and we see locals at the goat yoga class. So there are a few, and this goes back to that idea of listening. There are a few things that we've tried and some ways in which we've presented those experiences that seem to speak more to locals. And so now we're cultivating that when we're thinking about program development.
Yeah. So you have guides and facilitators, and do they have to go through some kind of a training? How do you select them? Who are they?
Sure. I have an amazing team, an administrative team of 3. student office operations manager, and then 2 admin assistants. And they are truly the magicians behind the curtain, right? Keeping everything flowing. Most of our guest communications, they're communicating also with our partners and the facilitators, and they just keep it all organized and moving forward with a lot of care and compassion. I'm really grateful for them and their warm, welcoming spirits. They love putting together these itineraries and crafting the experiences for the guests. So they're wonderful. And that's the administrative side. And then we have an amazing team of facilitators. So the most popular experiences on our menu have to do with yoga, goat yoga, yoga hiking, private yoga classes, corporate yoga all the time. So I've hired a team of yoga teachers because the frequency of those experiences supports that. The rest of our partners are independent contractor partners. So sorry, to back up, the employees, that core yoga team, there we do have trainings and making sure that we're all really consistent in those experiences that we're offering. There's a little more flexibility on the independent contractor side, where I'm not going to dictate how they craft the experience, but we do all gather in community to talk about how each of them are doing it. So they share ideas with each other, and there is consistency in the experience, though there are different flavors, if you will, due to these professionals. And for that team, the way we fall into partnership is, do they enjoy facilitating for groups? Do they enjoy facilitating specifically for lighthearted groups who might be gentle seekers, is what I like to call them. A lot of the people we're working with they're curious, and maybe they're visiting, or they're on vacation, or they're with a group. They might not try these things on their own, but they will because they're with their people. And so the door is open just a little. And if we can come in with some lighthearted, fun experiences that are simultaneously deeply meaningful, but that part's a little sneaky, like come in, it's fun. And then, oh yeah, surprise, it's also this. So a facilitator, that has to appeal to a facilitator. And some facilitators only want to work with people who are already deep diving into their wellness journey. And that's totally fine. So that's one bit. And then group management, do you enjoy, are you someone who prefers to work one-on-one? Do you enjoy having a group that might be a little unruly? And then how available are you? And I always say 3 things need to work. It needs to work for the partner. It obviously needs to work for the guest, and it needs to work for our business. And so we have a lot of conversations around, this is what the business needs, this is what our guests are asking for, and what do you need to feel supported in partnership, and what does this look like for you? That's a very long answer to, we have a lot of conversations, and we have a pretty good framework around, hey, do you check these 10 boxes? If yes, let's continue in conversation, because this is a good container to demonstrate kind of what it is like to be within Asheville Wellness Tours.
Wonderful. You've got a really great organization there. It sounds like you've kind of dialed in a lot of things, and you know it's working. So who has supported you along the way?
I feel like we could schedule another hour to all the people who have
and we may
just a gratitude journal is what we can record. That is the only challenge in answering that question is that the list is so long. I'll say that being in Asheville, this is a very collaborative community in a way that I don't know that you find in many communities. I have worked professionally in a lot of competition, and that is just not true here.
Totally.
And that is incredibly supportive. And I feel very grateful to be operating within that environment. And that's true in the wellness community. It's also true in the hospitality community. We have a group of tour and attraction provider owners. We gather together regularly and talk about our numbers and how things are looking, and what do you do for this marketing, or how do you train your guides, and people freely share. And it's just so beautiful that it's that all ships rise idea. And that's pretty consistent across the entire entrepreneurial community in Asheville. And so that has been really supportive. Prior to living in Asheville, I moved here in 2008, and then I was in and out and then fully committed in 2016. And the friendships that I've been lucky to create in that time have been very nurturing and nourishing. And there's just no way I could be an entrepreneur and wear the hats that an entrepreneur is required to wear without them. And that's on the personal side, right? Like, I feel like I have really solid professional support in our entrepreneurial community. I've got this personal support with these dear, wonderful human beings that I've been really lucky to know. And all of that takes time to build and cultivate. And so, yeah, patience and consistency have been some constant companions. Who else? There have been some businesses that have brought us in to do wellness-based series for their guests or their teams and believed in us when we were a younger business. We had a pretty early partnership with the Foundry Hotel, for example, downtown. And they said, hey, we want to provide a wellness component for our guests. We don't want to operate it. We like what you're doing. We see that you're relatively new. Let's grow in this partnership together. And they were new as a property they were opening. And they took a chance on us. And it has been a beautiful, wonderful relationship that has grown over time. And I'm super grateful for many of the businesses that took us on earlier in our process like that. And the farm that reached out and some of the other,
yes.
some of those, gosh, I don't want to leave anybody out. I'll also say for hospitality in particular, Explore Asheville is an incredible organization full of passionate people who are so excited to share the beauty of Asheville. And I know that there are a lot of feelings around the tourism industry in Asheville, and rightfully so. I think we always need to approach the conversation with intention and thoughtfulness. And I know that the people behind this name, Explore Asheville, that often is vilified, right? They are such supportive, wonderful, passionate people, and their hearts are in supporting small businesses and sharing the beauty of Asheville in a thoughtful, intentional way. They want to attract guests who are going to be respectful of and interested in our creative community, our passionate community. In Asheville, we have a lot to say and we say it loudly. And I think that's a really wonderful thing. So that's a long shout out to Explore Asheville, but they really, truly have supported us in a way just with generosity and openness that I think is unmatched in a lot of entrepreneurial communities. And I'm really grateful. In other communities, you pay to be a part of an organization like that. And in Asheville, Explore Asheville is funded by an occupancy tax that is only paid by visitors. So the visitors to the community fund that engine that then supports these small businesses. And that's an incredible model.
Oh yeah, I did not know that. That's really cool. And I love their website and their resources that they offer. I've used it tons of times myself, and think a lot of people really like what they're doing for sure. Thanks for plugging them, and I'll make sure to put the link to them in the show notes in case anybody needs to go check them out or wants to. So you mentioned that you have quite a year of collaboration and lots of projects going on coming up for the rest of 2025 and beyond. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so this is a little bit thanks to Helene, or our reality post Helene is that we are operationally very slow. We're down quite a bit. And the positive side of that is that we have a lot of time and space to get back to the drawing board in terms of being creative, and program development is possible in a time normally we'd be so busy operationally that we just couldn't even think about it. And this is a really fun part of the business, creating, and it has been what sparks these ideas. Who are we in conversation with? Who are we noticing in the community? The two that we just launched, we have Detox to Retox. And we do
Love that.
a yoga hike in the morning and then pick them up, have some lunch, and then we send them on a brewery tour downtown. And it's just such a nice, lovely, balanced day. And I have been in that tour operator community that I referenced earlier. I've been in community with the owners of that company for so long, and they are generous and kind and passionate, and it is a pleasure to work alongside them. And that is one way that I know it's worth exploring. The other one is summits to saunas. And so we'll do something mindful in nature, usually also a yoga hike, but could be a forest bathing retreat. And then we end in the afternoon with a private sauna cold plunge session at Drip Sauna in their beautiful location. And that came about partly because this sauna cold plunge idea is trending. We do follow trends, and we listen to, that's listening on a grander scale,
Sure.
Right, than the individual. And so listening to that, also knowing them and the way that I have witnessed them conducting business and their excitement for engaging with the local community and the way that they're creative with their events, all of those things align with the values of Asheville Wellness Tours. And so, yes, listening, observing trends. Sometimes I just throw out a package because it's something that I like to do, and let's see if other people do also. Where I don't think I've told anybody yet, but we're developing a foraging program now, and I'm very excited about what might come.
That's exciting. I love foraging. I learned that from my dad a long time ago, like when I was younger, like how to look for mushrooms. And that's where I kind of learned to be quiet, because he'd always be like, okay, now get down low and like just sort of like be quiet and like just be still and look. Don't try to run through the woods. Okay, so last question here is for someone feeling disconnected, overwhelmed, stressed out. What is just this one simple way that they could begin to reconnect, whether it was through movement, nature, being present? What do you recommend?
I recommend whatever it is that you'll actually do. Will you sit on your porch for 1 minute in the morning and kind of get some sunlight on your face and in your eyes? Do you have that minute? Does that feel accessible to you? Do you have space? Can you allow yourself to participate in a guided experience of some sort? Is this a yoga class? Is this a forest bathing retreat with Asheville Wellness Tours? Is it a massage where someone else, you're allowing someone else to hold the space for you so that you can focus only on being present? I really encourage people to seek that out. As you're exploring, let someone support you in that. And continue to explore. If nature is not your thing, you do not enjoy hiking, you do not enjoy sitting in a hammock by the creek, totally fine. Let's try something else. There's that idea of the paradox of choice, and it can be overwhelming. There are so many options and so many pathways. Take a deep breath and have fun with it and just keep trying. So do what you actually will do. If you can, lean into the support of someone who will hold that space for you, create the experience, and keep trying.
Absolutely wonderful. I love that. And just a reflection is that when people ask me, what's the best workout? And I could give them 8 million answers. And I'm like, the one that you'll do.
Yeah.
What do you like? Do you like to dance? That's your workout.
Yeah.
Do you like to walk? That's it. That's the one.
And this is great. I don't know what advice to give someone unless I'm listening. So if somebody came to me and said, which I do, that there would just be a babble coming from me, it would just, what is inside of you? Can we capture that together? Can we discover that together? Tell me everything. And then let me reflect to you what I hear, because that answer is already inside. Can we get it out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well said. I mean, you and I could probably continue on for hours, but for the sake of our listeners, we're going to go ahead and finish up here. So I really appreciate your time, Nicole. This has been really awesome. How can people get more involved with what you're doing?
I have 3 answers to that. One, the website, it's easy to just pop on and see what are they doing now? Asheville Wellness Tours.com. Mm-hmm. I really recommend signing up for the newsletter. We try to do it once a month. Doesn't always happen. It's less frequent than that. But that is where we share, like, for example, we have blue ghost fireflies in our area. They only exist in Western North Carolina and Southern Appalachians. And they're only active for 2 weeks. And talking about a sense of awe, this is an incredibly magical experience. And we run experiences around that time every year, and we announce that to the newsletter first. So there are things that will, these really special, exciting things that we'll do throughout the year that are very, I don't want to say time sensitive, but they're just more contained, and they're not evergreen. They're not always around. You'll find out about that in the newsletter. And then Instagram, Asheville Wellness Tours, that's a really great place to just meet our team, see who's behind the scenes, and catch the videos of the baby goats. We're going to do a meet the kids series, right? See what we were up to last week and get some ideas and some inspiration for how, even if you're not coming to Asheville, how you might explore the idea of wellness and play wherever it is that you are. Here are some creative avenues.
Thank you, Nicole. I really appreciate your time. Have an awesome, awesome day. You've been wonderful. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you. I can't wait to hear all of the episodes. I'm excited about what you're doing.
To book a yoga hike, forest bathing session, or any other heart-centered wellness experience, visit AshevilleWellnessTours.com. Whether you're seeking healing adventure or a deeper connection to the land and yourself, Nicole and her team offer a beautiful way to explore all that Asheville has to offer. Thank you for listening. To learn more about Be Well Asheville, visit BeWellAVL.com. And don't forget to follow this podcast. You can catch the next episode and bring us along on your hike on the Mountains to Sea Trail, on your drive through the Parkway, or on your way downtown to Friday's Drum Circle. If you loved what you heard, please rate and review the show. Your review helps others discover and grow our wellness community. You can also check out Asheville Wellness news, events, and our newsletter at BeWellAVL.com. Thank you for being the best part of our wellness community. Until next time, be well.